right? You've got pretty much from, like, my goodness, and that little movement alone, this reset your swings. You have a high, wherever it stopped, kind of failure, and then you have this movement down, which resets swings. So you kind of have this first shove, trades back in. No real attempts to reverse the trend until here. And now we're finally starting to unload, it looks like. And if we continue to unload aggressively into the open, we're clearing out all of this, likely back down to this area here, right? So if I'm looking at whereabouts to draw our pocket from, this area provided this movement, and then we kind of stalled until this low, like, spiked. Even that low kind of spiked. You could argue drawing it from here, you might get a bounce from where this attempt kind of started spiking from, right? So if we draw it from even here, that's gonna be wrong. Let's draw it like this, right? And then we might get a bounce out of this area, which would take us back up to here. We'll see how that goes. Drawing it from the actual low here, I don't typically draw from this. And the reason is because the first low, as you guys know, I'm expecting to mitigate the prior area of interest and trade back down. And in the low probability case where this just goes, then we can draw it a little bit differently. And I think we saw that on Friday with the morning. But even then, you could look at that as just going, but this, it did the same thing. It traded back in, came down, and then left. So we drew it from there, and that's where our high probability trade from here came from. Right? Anybody riding this short, or you guys... Nice trade, man. It'll be interesting to see the thing I don't really like, and you really want to see failure from this tap back in, which would trade back down, right? And then if that continues to go, it's going to take them all, right? You can even argue that was that. I don't like that we didn't trade into that higher time frame zone, which looks like, because this is a higher time frame push, that this would be the objective. There it goes. And now it's taken out. It's taken out all your shorts. And we'll see if we get follow through on this push down.
Target filled.
Yeah, me too. Ooh, one more push. What do we get? If it runs it, then I'm flat. Okay, I'm flat. No bueno. It could come down, but I think that that wick failure was good. Right? Not wild about taking trades in the first 3 minutes of the day, but that was That was a pretty quality failure. Should it have done it? And now we see what we get. I think it's regular trading hours. I don't think Columbus Day is a market holiday technically. Yeah. Man, these things. Regular hours, yeah. Hey, welcome, Sean. Where are you? Okay. I'm going to adjust that. I don't know if you, me too, man. Me too. Depends who you ask. Depends who you ask. There was a promo for October. It's actually still going on. I don't know if you knew about it, but signing up for quarterly, you get you actually get a free month as well, and I'll reach out to you personally after the stream today. There, just added it on. Welcome to the party. I encourage you to ask any and all questions. You're going to find a whole bunch of stuff here that you're not just trading, but psychology and everything else related that you likely haven't heard of and won't find anywhere else in the trading community. So welcome. Hopefully you enjoyed the videos as well. This is flying. Cool. The thing about this is that we're expecting, because there's no structure, we're expecting if we make a genuine bearish effort, it should be violent, right? Why? Because there's no structure in here. So if we decide to go down, this is a higher time frame shove. So our two options are we're making lower time frame movements, right? Not exactly what we want to see, but it did break this low and we started getting acceleration. Cool. That was pretty violent. And then what ended up happening is that we traded up here, sweeping these out. If this would have failed, we would have been looking at 40, 50 points at minimum, probably in 3 minutes. It's a high probability trade. And even if it stops out, fine. Oops. So now we've got our pocket that's being moved up. Still no failure. Still no failure. So what we're looking at now is we want some sort of lethargic structure coming in that we can look long. Oops. Why does that keep doing that? Come on. Right, we're now finally inside of that 4-hour area of interest. We've got quite a bit to go before we get to the midpoint. Another 100 points or so. Daily candles looking, we got 220 already. Beautiful. Right? So that failure there, ideally we wanted that to close bearish. to really give us that higher time frame sweep, and then we wanted to see follow through. The lack of follow through, 5-point stop is what I grabbed. Now, I was able to get 10 points out of the movement, but even if I hadn't, I'm taking that trade. Because the opportunity is strong. And what you're looking at is getting involved in high probability areas where if you're right almost immediately based off of order flow and structure and everything else. And if you're wrong, then you're wrong small and you're really wrong. This isn't something we hold and add to, right? Or anything like that. If we're wrong, we're wrong. Now, is there a possibility that this actually closes down here and really gives us a failure? I like this for a high. Now, trade into the 15-minute imbalance. I went on a rocket ship. So I think that's a low probability possibility. But it very well could trade down into here, and then we're looking for a long out of it. There's two ways it's going to trade down. It's either going to trade down like this, or it's going to drop in and then V-bottom out of it. You might get a change in order flow off of whatever candle drops in, and then you're looking maybe something like this. Yes, that's the one, right? And then inside of that 4-hour zone, we've got our area inside the middle of it that we refined it down to. Right? We're not really concerned about whatever's going on in this wick because that's no volume. There was no decisions made there. We want areas that the market made decisions to continue. That's why this low is important, because we were selling off. We made the decision to go on a rocket ship at the open, no less, of course. But so this could be accumulation, manipulation, and gone, which makes our trigger important if we're looking for a long in here. Because you'll notice there's no structure here. Right? So again, what would continue our higher time frame delivery instead of dropping into the pocket? We've got our structural candle here. You've got the open of it there as well. Right? Yep, that was a beautiful sweep failure. And again, you guys will determine if you like looking for contrarian trades or with trend trades, and then your job is staying out of trouble. Right? So this was a violent move off of that open. So far it achieved nothing. It's coming back down. I'm going to take that on. I think we go a little bit lower. We'll see. Yeah, we see that sometimes actually, which is odd. On the NDX, you'll see different things. Nicely getting held up. It's not what they want to see at the open of that candle. Beautiful response though. Nothing doing up here. I'm waiting for it to make a decision. I don't need to be in for the push higher. Right? But if we're looking for failure, essentially, you've got this last structural bullish candle, and now you've got these ones. So you're getting your sweep and failure here. We haven't traded above this yet. We've got to see acceleration, or we do. Right? It's being very well defended from our candle theory. There it goes. And takes the high along with it. So it's kind of like, what are we looking to see happen for this theory? Right? We've got failure. Cool. Now we need to see confirmation of it. And confirmation of failure isn't the sweep that closes underneath. Right? It comes from the attempt to rally that cannot. Or in the bearish case, the attempt to sell off that cannot, right? So this failure, you could argue this candle is weak. I personally I like to have this candle have that sweep and then trade back through. As you guys know with my triggers. Right? I haven't really gotten anything that's that clear today. But if I'm looking for this to fail somewhere in the short term to continue with our higher time frame delivery, I'm looking at the open of this candle at 80.75. And we swept it twice, maybe even three times, and couldn't find any lower prices. So had I been short, for example, let's say 96, this is a warning sign that we're not delivering how I wanted it to. The H4 closes anywhere around here in the next 15 minutes. Yeah, I mean, what did we talk about last week? What was it building last week? I actually should have mentioned it this morning. Our discussion all last week was that we were building an SMDR at the top of the range to break into here. Right? So the idea is that we get a shove into here, and then we have a bunch of different opportunities as we trade back down into this for a long. Or we get, we'll probably get a long anyways, but it'll probably do something like this. Whether this liquidates or not, there will be a trade that comes out of like somewhere in here. Right? And then we'll come back down for all this that's not part of structure on the higher time frame. And away we go. So depending on your personality, how aggressively you're trading, you've got failure here, okay. Strong response. So you could, in theory, buy the close of that with the stop underneath. I haven't taken any trades in here, by the way. There's definitely some scalps to be had, but I'm more focused on price delivery right now. This candle needed to have a sweep and a fail of it. We had an inside garbage bearish bar, and a lot of participants bought the close of that and have made money on it. Right? And the first place they're looking, if they buy the close of it at 603, their stop is 597. That's 6 points. So guess where they're going to take profits? 609. Right? And we actually went quite a bit beyond that. They'll likely look for a 2-to-1 on those type of plays, but we're not terribly concerned about what they're doing. Right? Again, no structure on this at all. This is higher time frame delivery. We needed to have a closure underneath here. Who liked the YouTube stream on Friday? Apparently there was some, I didn't have my sound on, so I couldn't hear the executions or whatnot. It was wild that you guys could. But apparently there was a whole bunch of Wild stuff going on with Apex. And by the looks of it, I'm probably going to be walking away from them as a firm, so. $6.30 equal highs. Yeah, so what happened on Friday, in a nutshell, just because there's looks like no real price action to be trading here. And it wasn't just me either. Actually, I had a couple of people reach out to me in private that they were having issues, weird issues. But what ended up happening was, let's use today as a paraphrase. Say, for example, I took a short here, for example. Say I got in on the close of that candle or something, and I made a few points. I closed it. My executions screen said that I closed it. My account said that I had no positions open. My execution screen showed that I had no positions open. And somehow a bunch of my accounts not only didn't close the position, but somehow added to the position. So I, without even knowing it, as I was kind of watching price deliver higher, some of my accounts on the screen had a ghost order that was sitting 6 contracts short, which went up, 50, 60 points or whatever it was, and liquidated. So obviously sent an email to them and showed them execution screen, everything that's going on. And just said to them exactly what happened. Like, there was no position on. Executions prove this. This is nothing on my end. This is the Apex Rhythmic server, etc. And their response back was, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, because I can't outright say it wasn't my fault, but just that trading has inherent risks, and Apex has no responsibility for Rhythmic, which is nonsense because of everything that went on in the summertime. They were able to reset people's accounts with Rhythmic issues. So essentially what they're saying to me is, we don't care that you're proving that it's not your fault. We're not blaming you. We're blaming Rhythmic, but we're not accepting any responsibility for them. So now me as a trader going forward, like I've gotten payouts with you guys since, like, this has been over like a year and a half now, going on 2 years of payouts from you guys. And they're just basically saying that sorry, we're not resetting. Like, that's $20K that went out of my account. Actually, more than that, a lot more than that, right? But in terms of P&L, that's a lot more than that. But in terms of the payout that's coming at the end of the month, or would have been coming at the end of the month, right? Like, poof. So, that stinks. But at the same time, it's like, what's philosophy for? It's not for show. When you guys are working on your own trading psychology, and you're sitting here right now going, it's probably going higher, but I'm not just aping in. That's when you're tested, is when it's important to sit on your hands and not take trades. Likewise with philosophy, it's not for show. it's not for show. It's for situations that calls for it, right? And my philosophy is immense accountability of self, where this is happening for a reason. It's absolutely ridiculous, and it would be extremely easy for me to be pissed off about it, right? And I had that, and regardless, I have to, I have to perform and narrate price at the same time it's happening. So that was a bit of growth, and I think that how I handled it on Friday, I'm was well. But I can't control what they're going to do. The only thing I can control is my decision making going forward. So for me, it's kind of like I've got a live account with TopStep now, and that's really cool. That was one of my goals this year. It's not just having PAs and getting money. That's cool, but like a live account, it carries a lot more weight, right? It's more recognized now, which is cool, but it's also showing me like, hey, maybe trade with the guys that you're not seeing issues with, that you're trading differently on. Way you go. Right? What's in my control and what's not. Shady business practices from a prop firm isn't in my control. Yeah, I was the exact same way, and this is a localized thing where, if I have problems now, they just don't have my back. And that's for me. I'm not saying it's whatever, but yes, so to answer your question, HNS, you do have structure on the 5 minute. That's right. What I'm looking at is like, if this wanted to trade back down to the prior zone, then it's going to be violent because there's no structure on this move. Likewise, there's no structure on this move. Which makes getting involved beautiful, because now holding a position is great. You've got this low, that low, that low, that low, that low, that low, and you're finally taken out here. Right? So what we're looking at is, yeah, usually there's some manipulation and then we go, right? Now I didn't, because of this structure, I wasn't expecting this just to get held up at the high there. I did think that we were breaking out from a higher time frame because of the SNDR that was formed. Right, we still got a little bit higher. We got 40 points before we get into that area. So we might trade briefly away from it. You'll notice this is technically a swing. We got a body closure underneath that. That's an advanced nuance. Buy and go play golf, no doubt. Zen just sitting pretty. Who's left holding when the music stops? Is the question.
Target filled.
For ES. Yeah. These are a habits check. And you'll find that they use days like today for the mentality of days like tomorrow. Everybody will remember missing out on these longs tomorrow. So when they try and run it in the morning tomorrow, and then they take out everybody that wants the exact same PA to be happening tomorrow from recency, then we'll have a good old chuckle. That might be reading too much into market maker and algorithm psychology or whatever, but yeah. Oh yeah. We'll do another YouTube this week. We'll do another YouTube this week. This is just grinding. Obviously nothing doing. Right. Finally starting to accelerate. Oh man, Chuck's been short since 58. Oh god, yeah. He's playing for 10,000. He's playing for 10,000. Oh, they just didn't get me today. Or my favorite. They're watching my stream, so normally you would see a trade back in. It's just random price action today. Oh, look, a bear bar. Pile in. This actually could be credible if we can close below here. We trade back into this. I kind of miss those days, low key. Back when people were like, "Oh, those guys can't trade." The inverse model. Should have stuck it out for options, man. Should have stuck it out for options. We had our own Kramer. I appreciate that, Tim. Be interesting to see what happens in here. You've got this area. We'll see if we get a move back down into this. Why is that last bull bar important? This one? So what I'm looking at is, do we have a body closure underneath this? Yes, we do. So it makes it a valid swing. $9:59 a.m. last time. This one, yes. Right. So if we get a body closure underneath this, then we have a valid swing coming in. This is kind of a credible top where if we trade away, then that might give us that. So give me 1 second, guys. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. Drop them back down in. What do we got? Touchdown into it. What happens? Nice trade, man. This high is 50.75. We're one tick off of it so far. Possibility that doesn't actually come deep into this zone. You're in your pocket now. This will be aggressive based off of location, but you want to see some pretty big follow through right now if you're taking an aggressive trade like that. It's now touched off of the top of that zone.
Target filled. Target filled.
You don't need to be early, but make sure you guys are right if you're taking these trades. Right? This looks like it's just trading lower. Finally into that zone. Not really liking the order flow, though. It doesn't really have any sort of buying or any sort of relief. That's better. We'll see if it trades through the open of that at 50.50. Again, don't need to be early. Right? You want some sort of buying pressure. You want to see if it closes above this 51. That would be the conservative way of looking at this. Violent. Right, that low is 42.75. I think we just, nope, we didn't take that yet. Right, so a body closure above that would have been ideal. Yes, technically a change in order flow. Right, I don't like how violently that shoved down, but I still do think we trade back up into the 60s. Unless we have our higher time frame shove happening now. And we'll find out on this candle. This is the aggressive buy that you're looking at with a stop below it. And she's got to go. Nope. At least not yet. But that failure above this, not what we wanted to see. Leading to lower prices. This could be the manipulation, possibly. But we're looking at the inability for it to trade higher after a significant effort. So we're looking at a minimum at this low at 36. And then probably 32s maybe. Right? There it goes. And I think it held up the exact low there too. And there it goes. Little sweep model trade. Right back up to that
Target
consolidation there. Boom. And now what you're looking at again, lethargic movement. Valid to look in here for a long. We didn't really get a trigger inside of this. But valid to look in here, and now you're looking at this failure twice, taking us lower, but we're still looking at attempts to reverse the trend on a lower time frame. That's important, right? We did get a body closure above this, yes. You're still looking at a very aggressive trade if you're going long in here, but you've now got a body closure over your last structural bearish candle. Orders are speeding up here. There's the pocket, this fractal. You got 26 seconds for this. I'm looking at this here. This sort of inside area that really sent us up higher. But we've also got this consolidation and then our prior zone. Still looking for failure to take us higher. Right now, these are little speed bumps. I don't fully expect a major reversal to come out of this. And if it does, then we need to see something a little bit more than what we're getting.
Target filled.
Right? Had hopes. Had hopes. If you're waiting for the conservative trade, you want to see some sort of failure and then a fairly decent or predominant change in order flow. So for example, that would have done this above that high, and then you're looking for that trade back in for the movement. There's little scalps to be made underneath here with this lethargic movement, but they're not high probability by any means. We've now finally swept this. Still curious to see if we trade back down into this or not. If we're drawing our pocket from this area of consolidation where things really came out, then we have this drop here. Probably a pretty good scalp that comes out of this. And again, we're looking for major change in order flow above here. Don't really like this for one. I think this is more consolidation. If that's manipulation, we go. But still sitting on my hands. This gets held up here, that could fly. We'll see. Right now she's just chopping at the low though. Not wild. That's better. But need follow through. Wow. Finally, some volatility.
Target filled.
Four seconds on this. Boom. That was a bit of a wild wick. Again, no trigger. If we get a candle closure above here, you might be looking at a delivery that goes above here now. Right? But we need to see some sort of reaction other than this large PA. It's a beautiful last trade, HNS. Right? Not what we want to see out of higher prices. We still have... I mean, technically we've got a change in order flow now on our intermediate time frame, but I think we retest back up to this at 36 at some point. Oops. Right? But in terms of triggers, not really anything. Location-based aggressive trades. There's a couple of them, right? This wick, but again, nothing really beautiful for this trade back up. Credible high, yes, but I like this area above us. Be interesting to see what goes on. Yeah, I don't like this failure here without an imbalance here. I took a trade on this just expecting climactic action to yield some covering. But I'm out of that already and now I'm stalking. And if I don't get exactly what I want to see, then I'm not involved, right? And all I'm seeing right now is failure above here. This candle here, it's not that candle, it's the response of it. So we got 22 seconds before we see something going on here. And we don't need to be so zoomed in on each individual candle, no, but what price is telling us, right? If we want to go long, we need to see the market supporting that theory. Right? And for me, this area was obviously a lot of volume. We had the attempt to rally here, which failed. I want to see some sort of strength above this. That's better. So now from a lower time frame objective, you've got this there that it just tapped into. We've got this area here, yes. So let's clear up this chart a little bit. We've got that there. right? This is the only area if we're going to reject. We need a body closure typically underneath this. If we get a body closure above here, we probably take this high. And I think we might have a little bit of a trade back in before going higher. This looks like it wants to clean up this. Yeah, you certainly could, right? If you've got that there and you've got your area of interest, for sure. Which lines up pretty nicely with the midpoint of this here. Right, but the important thing was a closure above this. You barely got your trade back in, which is characteristic of a higher time frame shove. I wish I would have held on for my trade there, obviously, but this failure threw a wrench into that confirmation. It's a bit of a short trigger there, trading back down to our area of interest. But I don't think I'm not looking for any shorts until we get a pretty decent trade back up into this. Now it's possible that we just reject off of the open of this zone. Right? But the possibility of a barbecue here is really nice as well. Right? That's beautiful for shorts on the 5-minute. 15-minute looks like failure as well, even though we're tapping into this imbalance and respecting it so far. The only caveat we have is that we didn't trade into our pocket that we're looking for at 96. Right? So if we're looking at this, let's get rid of this. That was your only small consideration. You've got this here. And what you're looking for is looking for this retracement back down into here for a potential long to then take us higher. This was pretty climactic. We've now closed above this candle, finally, which is excellent. And now you're looking for that trade back in for continuation. I agree. I think the higher time frame move, like if you're looking at things, even the hourly is got a retracement going, cool. We're looking for a trade eventually back down to here, but I don't think that's going to be today. Right? The 4-hour just traded back down as well. How did I get the pocket at 96? Well, that's just the prior zone. So if I'm looking at that 4-hour area that we drew up earlier, this 4-hour area here, then we've got this last swing up, which really delivered everything. Or are you talking about this? This 96. Okay, gotcha. So no delivery down, unfortunately. Do we lift? This is not fun unless you're already involved, but getting involved it's not giving us a lot. It's really not giving you a lot. From a scalping perspective, great, but even then, like 5 points maybe. Gave us that nice trade into the pocket, but I mean, like you're literally having to take things based off of location and ape in on it. It's going exactly where it needs to go. Right? Trades up close to it, sideways, manipulates into it, and now it's trading back down. And now you're looking for probably something in here. And if it just knifes through, it's probably going to take these. At least this one. A lot of sitting on my hands this morning. Did anybody grab the trigger after it, trading back through? I wouldn't blame you if you didn't want to short. I'm waiting for a bit of a deeper retracement. Curiously enough, there is a swing in this. And that was that high there. You had a body closure underneath this candle and that closed above it. That's important because trading above here now ideally has us trade back down to the zone. Now ideally you want a body closure above a protected high. Right? In order to validate a change in structure, but I mean, given this movement, and the inability for it to trade lower, right? We're still failing at the bottom of our last structural bullish candle inside of that range. After failing above it, yes, but if we continue to fail below it, that's no bueno as well. Doesn't mean we get involved, but if we're reading price, a lot of this is stuff that we don't really want to see. But you'll notice that the market's very algorithmically driven. Even when this low hasn't been put in yet for us, the market's already decided whereabouts it wants to go down to. Bit of a change in personality coming in here. right? So what do you guys think? A or B? If you had to pick, A or B? B then A? Ooh, spicy. Spicy, spicy, spicy. Spicy. Morning. We need to break. This needed to break this low that sent it in. It couldn't. So we actually have no change in order flow yet coming in. Now I don't like this in terms of a long. That doesn't mean we can't go up and break it. As it stands right now, this move is still bullish. So my expectation is this high. But given this PA and how we're interacting here, my expectation would be to fail above here and then trade back down. Now this might give us a scalp, which is what I'd be expecting, and then taking that low. Right? But here's the trick. And I like where you guys' heads are at in terms of what you want to see. Like we might expect A, we might expect B. But if something specific happens, then we react and pivot to our choice. At worst, we stay out. For example, suggest hypothetically that we break this now after taking this high. Do we still think A? Probably not. Right? So we can look at this going, okay, like I expect short, but if I don't see short, then it can take A for all I care because I'm not involved in anything. Cool. Right? So you're now taking that high. You want to see follow through if you're short, or your stops above that candle. Who could have predicted this? There's your change in order flow. Boom. Boom. Right? Now, why wait in here rather than shorten for the moon here? This is a scalp, that's fair. But our expectation is that this has to break. To reiterate, this has got to break the low to put it in. You could even argue that one, although this in reality just traded up here and then actually traded lower again. So you might get this movement back into here and then delivering down. And that would be what you want to see for continuation. But the important thing is the patience of waiting in here. Right? You've got your imbalance. If that gets respected, we continue lower. Right? But again, nobody's saying we can't go long in here. But when you're looking above and you're looking at narrative below, this becomes a low probability trade now after this low got broken. This guy and his entries is right. There's your trade back in. Right? So those of you that are waiting for something conservative, that was your trade. Because you're a legend. Right? Now, I don't like that. But we'll see what we got. I'm willing to give this a little bit of time. Even though we're in a range, because I think it has to deliver where it wants to go after failing higher. But she's going to have some fun while she's doing it, it looks like. Chopping around, might have to take this high as well. But you gotta have faith. You gotta have faith. Taking two off here. And there it goes. Okay. Nice trade, lads. Everybody understand why we're waiting for this? Even if your job or you're not seeing this failure or expecting that failure. Right? Now, there's no reason so far to be out other than profit taking. We've got our pocket just underneath. Clearly some buying at the midpoint of this. all day, every day. Easy money, right? Easy money. I suppose you could. I look at this as kind of where the majority of everything happened. Then this was kind of manipulation. You could argue that it's this, and you'd probably be fairly accurate. I just think we're going to trade back down because I had confluence with this area here from before. So I was leaving it at that. Right? But you wouldn't be amiss drawing it from here either and then getting your scalp out of that. Oh, Mikey felt left out. So again, what we're looking for in an ideal situation is our big capital F to trade us back in and then determine whether we go lower or not. This is still our last structural bearish candle. Obviously a pretty big wick. Trading into that imbalance now. And this is how the market moves. This is how the market moves. Right? Guess who did their study over the weekend and is swinging hard on this. There it goes. Order filled. Why did I choose that for my take profit? This high of this area that I thought was going to be the target for narrative. That candle there, that we kind of broke order flow, traded back down, and then went on a rocket ship. That high put in that low, so I looked at this candle. Closing it here. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Are we entertained? How are we doing, lads? Look at this. Down we go. Who said B? Who said B? This is your bragging rights. This is your bragging rights. Why did I not hold? Does just trading it count? I said A, but I traded it down to B. Okay. Fair. Who still thinks we're going to hit B? Or who's holding on to their guns with A? A was fair here. In fairness, A was fair here. Until we got that failure and confirmation. But we were looking for B. Confidence in yourself. Boom. B. What emoji we got here? What emoji we got here? Notice how I didn't even use the magnet, did we? We'll, what do we got? Phone it in. Called it. Boom. Boom, boom, boom. Say it with me. And if I said something and then Tom said something directly opposite, even now I'd be like, well, what did I miss? What idiot sold here and then covered there? Who did that? Jesus. Look at this. Second distribution. Legend, Bailey. Thank you. I'm going to live my trade vicariously through you. So, in case you guys haven't noticed yet, we are entirely about supportive growth. So what that means is that there's absolutely no shame in being short here or here and seeing this and then taking your position off and then whatever. But what we want is to foster your growth in terms of expectations. And in reality, that's all the assignments that I'm doing is to foster that expectation. If we're going down from here, how is price going to deliver based off of the chart to the left? Are we going to short here and have it dump? Do we expect this? What exactly are we looking for? And when you look at that and you're here, what's our expectation of price? I don't like that low for starters. So if this retraces, beautiful. Then I want to take it short for at least that low, which I did. And it looks like some of you guys traded this a hell of a lot better than I did, right? But my point is that, okay, we don't have to be involved here. You should look to get involved here. This is still aggressive. You have your change in order flow, yes. So this is go time for short. Not here, because our curve is this. And if we're shorting, we want to be in somewhere from here onward on that curve. right? We don't want to be shorting on the uptrend. We don't have to scale in 50 contracts yet. And now you'll see we've got this going on here. But regardless, if this is your, maybe not there. My God, do I have anywhere on the chart that I can write? If this is us, and this is you, and you're happily starting to trade, and through all your growth, you're here. And over here, you're, God. That's you. That's where you want to be. Right? That's where you want to be. You're here. But you think you're here. All of this, all these lessons that you need to get from here to there are not going to be noticed and shown to you. Actually, that's not true. They're going to be shown to you on a daily basis. So what this means is you need to be honest with yourselves and whereabouts you are, or else you're going to miss this. And quite honestly, we take massive leaps in trading, and then you plateau for growth, and you're being shown the same thing over and over and over again. One specific little thing that if you changed, you would jump from there to there. And then guess what? You're going to plateau again. Right? And then you're going to make another jump based off of what you see until you get to your desired goal. But it starts with being honest. Not, oh, the market didn't deliver the way I wanted it to here, or I took it off here because of emotions, but justifying it or whatever else. Be honest with yourselves. And you might have been stalking along in here instead and thought we were silly for looking at this short trade. And we can go over that too. Because there very well could have been a long that came out of this. How do we got a trigger or something? Right? But you'll notice something else. This low looks very similar to this one, doesn't it? So we're finally trading back down to our open area. Let's get rid of all this nonsense. Join for charts and they see unicorns on the chart. What the hell? Whoop! Everybody panic. Oh, wait. Thank you very much for that long. Right? And that might not be your cup of tea, taking something like that after a falling knife. Cool. Don't blame you. You can live vicariously through us, V. We know you'd be here destroying it. Is it random that it happened at 8 a.m.? Still short. Get this guy a channel. This has got to go if it took that liquidity target. We've got all this still down here. What do we got? What have we got? I think we're in the pocket of this this area of interest. If we drew it from, say, here. God, will these ever? No, God, we're way up higher. I suppose that's Lalo's manipulation, isn't it? Re-asses. What does that mean? Didn't quite get there. I obviously really like that low, especially if we fail. Monday, no news. Very well. Very well could come back in now. Look at all this stuff on the chart, though. Let's get rid of some of this crap, eh? All right. And if we do rally, then you're looking at, like, there, 580-ish, which kind of lines up with that. I think that's fair. $52s. Let's see what we got here. Somehow I switched my mic off. Interesting delivery. Still think we got a little bit higher. Oof. Scooped. Looking for a trade back up into here. We gotta get followed through above here though, obviously. Right. Not liking, like it's not ideal failure, but I'm liking that we closed above this candle. We traded back in. We've now respected the trade back down, but at least expect to take this high. And if it fails here, then we can reevaluate. Go on, you good thing. Not really what I wanted to see out of that. These are the candles that really play havoc. When you get a violent movement down, you've got lethargic movement. So we're kind of half expecting this to lead to rejection. Not half expecting, we are expecting it to lead to a rejection. Right? And even if that rejection only, say it comes here in the 80s and it only takes like this low, at least you'll get a 40, 50 point move out of it, even if it doesn't hit the objective that we're expecting, and then lower. Right? But these ones that don't have failure above them that sell off sharply, they wreak havoc, they get people out of positions. They're not structural, they're just emotional. Those are all kinds of fun, aren't they? Right. So again, we're looking at trading back into here, valid swing, cool. Didn't really like the failure here. Doesn't have to trade in, of course, but with this delivery, we're expecting this to lead to rejection somewhere. You could argue that this was your lower time frame SNDR. We've traded into that. We traded back down through into the area that broke it. But I'm still expecting higher prices. And you've got this speed bump here that was responsible for it. And then more importantly, what we drew earlier, you've got that pocket that lines up with it. So many reasons to go higher. Many, many, many. She's going to shove. She's going to do it now. I wouldn't really think trading back below here would give us much. I think that the shove should come pretty quick, if it's going to. Good body closure. Pocket 1 versus pocket 2. You have a swing here. By the way, pocket is when we have our OTE from where the move in price came from. That's what we use for pocket, right? So that's like your 62% to 70% retracement. Now, when you're talking about structural areas, this area was responsible for nothing. This area broke below this structural low, which was confirmed by having a body closure above this high. Right? These are what's called fractals. These are lower time frame swings in price. So on your lower time frame, on seconds time frame, you see this, right? And we observe it as fractals on the 1 minute chart. Yeah, and then inside that you might even have, I don't know, like you'll have your little SNDRs that are like formed to break below that low, right? Areas that broke below that low. I mean, that wasn't a valid pullback even on the seconds time frame. Right, and that doesn't mean that we use these where we're just like, okay, I'm setting an order at, I don't know, 80 and I'm short. And I've got a 20-point stop and I'm expecting whatever, right? That doesn't necessarily mean that. If you get a trigger inside of it, like that could have been one right there if you're looking short. That means that this is your area of probability of where you might expect a movement. And now what you want to find is confluence as well. So do we have any area using our fib that we would draw? Right? So that increases our confluence if we have price action that we deem appropriate. Yeah. Right? So now you're looking for confirmation of trading below this low here. Ideally with the body closure, which would at minimum take you back down to this. Bang, right? Failure here with a strong rejection from this low means we go above that high, in my opinion. Not that I would be taking a long expecting an SNDR to break, but you guys can see the anatomy of this trade. Close. Important information, though, isn't it? What do we get? Higher to go lower, lower to go higher. I think this gives us this, which then does this, and then you might get your movement. But we'll see. Whoop. Are they going to do it? 9 seconds? Can they do it? Isn't it fun when you're on the sidelines watching them? Yikes. Now what? Zin. Zin. My goodness, man. Animal. So what else we got on this? I can get rid of. Right? A or B? How many times are we going to do this? Right? Expectation would be A. Last manipulation. Not married to our short entry, even though this was phenomenal. I think that's A+. Inside of our pocket, inside of an SNDR of a valid swing, expecting lower prices, I think that's A+. And in fairness, that would have delivered, what, almost 20 points? Oh, a stop just before, getting everybody interested. Squeeze. 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 Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. Absolutely gorgeous. Good patience as well, HNS. It's not starting the day red. It's not having your week be red. It's not having anything. It's your resilience and your ability to bounce back, to keep emotions in check, trade your system that's going to give you the consistency you want. Anybody can make money any day. People just bought at 80 on this breakout and made 5 points, and they think they're rock stars. Your ability to deal with the pullbacks in your chart, in your personality, your psychology, everything, that is inalienable to you, to the point where you know unequivocally that you will make it as a trader going forward. Look out. You should be. You should be. Bouncing back from your day-to-day, that's exactly the resilience that you need. Now this movement, look out. We're going for this. Whether it changes and does something like this and does it, whether we get lethargic movement, this is nasty. Now, if we fail underneath here and this candle closes something like this and we get follow through, fair enough. But I am hands off of longs right now. But whether we miss this short, for whatever reason, doesn't fit your guys' system, staying out of this from our analysis puts you above, literally above, 98% of traders out there. And I don't mean that as just throwing a random number out. This analysis puts you above 98% of people who you're expecting this. You heard it here first, lads. The man's looking just underneath. Right? Let's see what we got here in terms of this. Projections. 586.50. You'll forgive me by having one tick. One tick. Let's get a heart for that from HNS. That's fantastic. Beautiful. Beautiful. Aren't they cute how they're trying to entice everybody to go long, hey? Just like, oh, did you see that? Did you see that wick, guys? Don't you want a piece of this? Don't you want to go long here? Brrr. It is bouncing off the 30, I suppose. But no bueno for me. Oh, gee, missed that. That's a shame. Not today. Not today. See the scam. Feel the scam. Be the scam. Away we go. Scam the scam. Yeah, scam the scam. Not today. Wow. You're in the zone with that short. Where was that? Where was that? Where'd you get in? Here? On the failure? All right. Trust in your direction? Okay. Yep. $15-second SNDR. Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Was that 30-50? Still didn't. Have you guys noticed that they're not giving a lot of imbalances on this? Like there's a lot of this stuff that trades back in, but that's not an imbalance today. It's wild. Usually you get a couple of imbalances in these shoves at the end. Oh yeah. What do we do? Hey Dodgy, where's the inverse? Could be finally traded back into this area. Finally. This is just a little love tap. Yeah, don't trade Mondays or Fridays or any time after 4 a.m. if the midnight open isn't exactly divisible by 6, and then morning Stotts, sleepyhead. Trading horoscopes. Moon cycles. What is it? Horoscope today. What do you think? What do you guys think? Vogue India? Is that a reliable source? Grazia India? No, let's go free horoscope today. Vogue India. Where am I? Let's have a look. Here we are. All right. Listen to the soft whisperings of your soul and choose to look beyond what your eyes can currently perceive. Well, I do that on a daily basis. If you were to love yourself exactly as you loved another, how easy would you go? Allow love to pour into the cracks that feel dry and withered, and let spring in after a long, cold winter. Your heart is your compass. Well, well then. My heart is my compass. What does my heart say? My heart says short. Heart says, give me that money. Wild. Wild. It could be. It could be. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Who did the homework assignment? What are we looking for now? Eh? What are we looking for now? How's my trend line? Mikey, how do you, don't you put like a gap in it? Don't you do like this? Isn't that how we do it? Just give it a little place to trade through. Man. Oh my God. That's nasty business. The high is weak. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I mean, we're looking at this, and ideally we want to get a body closure above this 65 high. Now, based off of this attempt to fail and just annihilation of anybody shorting here so far, we just traded above that candle. So technically the high is weak, but we need confirmation based off of the time frame that it's delivering on. So what I look at is this is about 7 bars, right? So I'm not really liking this from a 1 minute move standpoint, right? The anatomy of this, what do we talk about? Lethargic movement, right? Leading to rejection. This, however, not looking very lethargic to me, but I'm concerned about this high on the 5 minute chart. Even though we failed underneath here. The narrative would be that we're looking for a reason to trade into this area of interest, to trade back down, to then potentially look for long. Hopefully I didn't talk you out of your long there, bro, but yeah. Good. All right, so what you're looking for confirmation of this low is we really want to see a genuine effort to sell off, right? The reason that we had conviction going higher to this SNDR here wasn't because we had this bull bar. Who gives a you know what, right? I don't know how many, who's worried about words and whatnot, but, but we have a genuine effort to sell off here, which got destroyed. And then we had confirmation follow through, right? Now we can look at this being confirmation. So we have our shove from here. We've got this nonsense going on. But I want to see a genuine effort to sell off, not this. This is kind of stalling in a sense. That doesn't mean short. My goodness, that doesn't mean short. You could, but we don't really have a change in order flow or anything yet. This put in that high, this failed so far, right? And even if a change in order flow occurred, I'm actually stalking a potential long trigger. Yeah, this isn't what I want to see. I want to see something like this. This could go above this high, which is technically weak, as Jay mentioned, right? But that doesn't mean we need to be involved on a coin flip. You guys are going to have a long recording today. Right? And this is where if I said A or B, you're flipping a coin. Because you don't have enough information one way or the other. All things considered equal, yeah, you're seeing a failure that you would lean on this. But, I mean, like, you're also equivalently looking at this. If I get rid of all this crap. Right? Shocker. Why this low and not that one? This is manipulation. Flying's kind of fun, isn't it? I wish I could fly. And so you might see a bounce off of these 23.6s, we'll see. This will be the only area in here that I would consider a long out of if it did not deliver down rapidly. What's more likely is we get, if we would have got a sweep into this, I would have liked that. Right? But we needed at least an attempt to buy here and then sweeping that out. I'm sitting on my hands here. We'll go for the end of this move, I think, and see if we can get a little bit further. Hopefully you guys were able to at least stay out of trouble. Hopefully make some money this morning. How we feeling in the chat, lads? And ladies, sorry. We all right? There was a lot of messy movement this AM. Burr casually making $600 just playing around. Really? Yeah, go for it, man. I don't care about people promoting firms or whatnot, right? I mean, the idea is that the take profit codes go back to you guys for accounts, but our goal is for people to make money. Right? And if there's one firm that we should all be looking at, then no. I mean, if people like it, we'll get a code and we'll see about giving some accounts away for free, similar to what we do with TPT, right? But what's the name of them? Video? What's the name? What? Futures Fanatic. Profit Trade. Okay. Oh, that was that guy, Futures Fanatic. Profit Trade. All right. Yeah, let's check them out. There's a bunch of new ones that are popping up all over the place, like Trade Day, Tradeify, and all these guys. So did I, yeah. I was kind of looking... Nice trade, Jose. More like your patience has been good to your trading today. Don't take away your achievement of your work, bro. This probably... Yeah, I suppose that probably just touched into there, didn't it? Yep. Still looking for the change in order flow here. We did trade back in fairness. But like... Be interesting to see where this candle closes. Nice closure above this. This is your last, well, that's actually your last structural candle, so that's wild. We should take this high now, 66. Yep. 45 fit. You beat me by 2 ticks. What a guy. What a guy. Ten accounts, yeah. They'll probably ghost order me and liquidate me. Anybody beat Tom's 45.50? $56, okay. All right. This is your low-hanging fruit, even if it does decide to go down. That was your low-hanging fruit right there. Right? Now, this high is technically weak. Assuming we get no push away from here, then this becomes weak, and we actually are looking to target. We'll probably take that high as well, which would be the target of this push. Yes, your weak high initially, for sure. But in an uptrend, you're targeting protected highs en route to trading back down to the midpoint of this zone here. And then you'll also notice you've got something beautiful that goes on there. Now, if we were to mark out our manipulation leg there, you've got your first one, which is your protected high. And then you actually have a stretch target above this. Okay. Stop this.